Doodlebud. Today I'll be reviewing this beautiful little pocket fountain pen by Ensso, the Pocket Piuma, and it's made out of titanium. Now, do you need grade 5 titanium for a pocket fountain pen? Turns out, yes. So here it is. Here's this little beauty. I ordered it earlier on in the year. I can't remember if it was maybe January or something like that. I put a notice on the channel here as well, and a few other people jumped on board. Big fan of the previous version I have, which is the aluminum, and it was actually in a top 5 pens for 2021. Now, I can't seem to find the aluminum version to compare. I don't want to say I lost it, but maybe it's just been misplaced. I hope I find it soon. But here we got the titanium version, and I just adored the aluminum version so much. And the only thing about it, I thought it would be cool if it was just a touch heavier. And then when I noticed they had the titanium version available, I, of course, had to jump on it right away. So we're going to roll through the pen, do a little comparison with some other pocket pens I have, and tell you what it's all about. Hope you enjoyed the glam shots. You can get some close-ups of the pen. And now I'm going to get into some of the details and why I like this pen so much and run you through it too. So this is only the second time I've actually bought a duplicate pen. I bought a TWSBI Eco and a Fine when I first kind of got started. Enjoyed it, got another one and a 1.1 stub. But since then, I haven't duplicated any other pens until this one. So why is it? Well, I quite like the overall shape of the pen. I find it's very comfortable to use. The fact it fits in your pocket quite nicely. There's just a lot of things I like about it. Even something as silly as this, you know, me and my threads, but it's just got that fidget spinner ability. I'll just sit there sometimes when I'm thinking and just zip these threads on and off a lot. So it's quite nice that way. It's got a full-size number 6 nib. In this case, it's a Bach nib that's on there. So it's nice, even though it's a small pen, you get a number 6 nib. You know, it's pretty small to use like this. Maybe if you're just writing down something super quick, but it's meant to be used when you post the pen. And when you do that, it fits really nicely. Very similar to lots of other full-size pens. So it fits in the hand quite nice, quite comfortable. Very comfortable section. So, you know, if you like to hold it further back or further down, get the diameter you like. The threads don't bother me whatsoever at all. They're quite comfortable in there too. It is a cartridge only pen, I should say. So in here right now, it has a Kaweco cartridge. This is, I think, the Royal Blue or something like that it's got. So it's only a cartridge pen. You just can't fit a converter in something that small. I thought that would bug me, but actually it doesn't. And I was like anti-cartridge for such a long time. But now that I'm using this pen, also I have some other pocket pens I use quite a bit. I really, really enjoy it. I like how the threads lock on. They're quite nice. And they're pretty good. I was a little worried with titanium. It's a little bit trickier to machine a titanium pen. The aluminum pen, I didn't really have any issues with the threads, but I thought the titanium might be a bit off, but they work quite well. So well, I showed it to my little 3-year-old son, and he, no problem, lefty-loosied it, looked at it, and I said, you know, that goes in the back. And he went, oh. Then he spun around and just put it on there. No problem. And then he took it off and put the cap back on. So if a 3-year-old has no problem threading this pen, I'd say good job on that, Ensso. Yeah, it's just titanium's a tricky metal for multiple reasons. One of them is just to do with the heat. Normally when you cut a metal, the chips take, you know, to help dissipate the heat. With titanium, it doesn't really do that. You can grab those chips and they're not going to burn you. So there's all sorts of challenges when working with titanium. But I've sort of found out through a few titanium pens I have, I think it's actually my preferred metal for metal pens. It has this nice property. It's not too light, not too heavy. Some aluminum pens I find a little bit too light, and then some other metals can be a little bit too much. I find titanium's sort of in that sweet spot, and it's just cool. Saying stuff's made out of titanium, it seems like it's overkill. Maybe years, decades ago, titanium would have been overkill, but titanium's pretty accessible now, and we know how to work with it and machine it. And then you can do other cool stuff with it, like anodize it. So this is another pen from Ensso. It's a titanium pen. I anodized it, but good news, I finally got my special cleaner here with some lovely hydrofluoric acid. I'm joking around here, but that stuff is truly nasty. I'm going to do another follow-up video. I'm going to unanodize and then reanodize it. But that's a cool property with titanium. I've done a video on this before. There's lots of videos on the internet, but you can anodize this pen and make it whatever color you want. And you can also take it off as well. It's quite a hard coating that gets on there. But I'm going to go through, give you a few measurements of the pen, a little bit of a comparison, of course, a writing sample, and then tell you what I like or don't like about the pen. But spoiler alert, I kind of like everything about the pen. But let's get to it. A few measurements. When the pen is all assembled with the cap on, we're pulling at about, let's just say 92.6 millimeters. Diameter wise at the thickest part, I believe we're about 15 or so. The cap comes off, and the section's nice because it has a gradient to it there too. It has a nice little taper. So we're at what, 12.4, maybe 12.5 at the start, about 12.4 there, and then we taper down to about 10.9 or so, let's say. And the nice thing with the titanium also has like this, if you can, I don't know if you can hear that, but it's got these little tiny micro grooves. So metal sections can be quite slippery. I haven't had that challenge whatsoever. This pen actually has a nice little grip to it. Now, if you post the pen, which is that's how you're going to be using it, let's get out the old school ruler here. Tricky on the camera, but I think 139 millimeters. I'll confirm that in the description. And let's check the weight. So here we are, the pen fully assembled with a cartridge that has some ink in it, which is how you're going to use it. So, a little over 37 grams. Here we are with the comparison, some pens, largest to smallest. So we got the Pocket Piuma, the Gravitas Pocket Pen, standard Kaweco Sport, and the classic Kaweco knockoff that you find. Here we are with the same pens unposted. And here we are with the pens set up the way you are going to use them, and that's with the caps posted. I'll do a quick writing sample with the pen, and then I'll give you things I like and little nitpicks I have on it as well. I figured, why not use this book? It just says this notebook is perfect for writing notes. All right, let's do it. So we're looking at the Ensso Pocket Piuma. In this case, it is in titanium. It is a number 6 Bach nib. And this one is in a fine, and the ink I mentioned before is the Kaweco, I believe it's royal blue. So nib writes wonderfully. I'll talk about that in a minute. The wetness is right where I like it. I did a little tweaking to get the reverse to be pretty good. Reverse is always, I mean, you have no idea. They're meant to be written on the tipping on the bottom there. So if you get one that writes upside down, it's not going to be like that 100% of the time. But the flow is just right. Yeah, it works really well. This is perfect for taking notes and jotting things down. Even though it doesn't have a cap liner in the cap, I haven't had it misfire once, only when I'm doing the video here and I got the pen on cap for a couple minutes and I pick it up. That's about the only time, but every time I pulled it out of my pocket, it has worked. So some of the things I like about this pen, as I mentioned before, just the shape, it's very unique. When you see this pen at first, off the top of my head, I don't know of any other pens on the marketplace that look like this. So it's very, very unique. I like that. It's very minimalistic, very subtle, but I think it works well for this pen, especially like the titanium. It's just kind of a nice touch. It does, as I mentioned, come to be quite a nice full size. I also like how it's a little bit thicker. So that was kind of only one of the things I really didn't like about the Kaweco Sport. The length, I could deal with it once it's posted, of course, but I understand the metal version I would probably like more because it is kind of light, but then also that section diameter is just a bit too small for me to still be comfortable. So I think that's why I like some of my other pocket pens a little bit more than the Sport. I know these things are mega popular and some people have like 30 of these. Just this particular one, I'm not the big fan of. The classic one. I think heavier would be better for me as well. So this sort of ticks off all of those boxes where it works quite well, and then also a little bit bigger section, a little bit more length, and it's got the weight as well. So I've been very happy with it. In fact, maybe later, if you want, I can do a comparison of the two, but the Gravitas Pocket Pen, I really enjoy that too. So it's I just posted on my Instagram the other day, you know, I kind of have these two pens with me all the time. Sometimes one is in each pocket because you can never be too safe which pocket you need to reach for to get out up, you know, your little fountain pen and you're ready to go. So let's go through a couple things that were off a bit now. I mean, there's really nothing terrible. The thread here on the back, this is the challenge with this style of thread. This is called an Acme thread. So it's just that lead in. So you're going to have the thread, they round this edge off and you can get just a bit of a crisp edge on there. And the focus, of course, is not going to cooperate, but it can make it a little bit trickier to start. There is something you can do called a Higby thread, where you actually eliminate essentially the sort of the first thread that's on there. You got to do that on the receiving end as well. You'd have to do that in the cap, and that's one way to sort of help with starting. So this is pretty good. The odd time it just catches, like I can just feel, I might even take my little sharpening stone and just smooth that edge out just a bit. It's not even for a quarter of the circumference, but just a little bit there. There's a touch of an edge, and every now and then, if you're not quite perfect, if you're off at a bit of an angle like that, it can just catch. It will go on and then you're fine, but it will just catch just a touch. And that's one of the things with those type of threads that they're a little bit more prone to doing. I notice it's a little better now that I've had it for 2 weeks, but I might just touch that one up just a little bit. I do not have that issue on the cap whatsoever. This just goes on and off. The threads work quite well. As I mentioned, it never dries out on me. It's ready to go. And these threads are really fantastic. Same thing as on the aluminum as well. So there weren't really too many issues. The biggest one though that did happen, and this is more of a Bock thing, I've noticed this happen more with Bock nibs than Jowo nibs, is it was writing a bit too dry. So I know how to fix that. It took me not very long. I don't know, a minute, maybe two tops, just a few little things. I did a video recently with a different pen. I think it was a Namisu pen that has a number 6 Bock nib. I had some other issues with that nib that was leaking like crazy, but it was a bit too dry as well. So the tines are just a little bit too tight. And so I had to open that up a little bit to get it to write better. It was too dry when I first got it. So it would be nice though if they did test and inspect every nib with that regard. Now that's a tough thing to do when you get that many nibs to go through every single one of them. But there are some companies showing in the background there. Whoops, sorry. That do that. So that would be sort of my only extra request, and it's a lot of an undertaking to do, but just to ensure and check every nib to know that that tine gap is correct and the tines are aligned. So this is the first time I've had that on one of the Ensso pens, but I have had that issue on other pens that have Bock nibs, and sometimes it's just a quick check with the feeler gauge just to check that gap is right. And you know, if you have a few of them, let's say you got 10% that just need some tweaking or whatever it is, you can just chuck them in a box, put ones that are good, and then get back to those later, and when someone has a chance to check those out. So that would be about my only improvement on the pen. One other thing I thought I would mention would also be availability. So I saw this deal around the start of the year that they were having another batch of these pens. They were doing the titanium. I think it was a run of 150 pens. So I quickly jumped on it right away, ordered mine. There was a really skookum deal they had. I posted that on the community page, and I think quite a few people got a pen as well. So to anyone out there watching who got yours, hope you are enjoying it. But the folks who want to maybe get one now or coming a little bit late, I don't know if there are any left. You can go to their website. I'll put a link in the description there down below. I think it's just enso.com. You can check out, maybe there's a few left. Depending when you see this video, there might not be any left at all. And so you got to wait until the next batch, and who knows when that's going to happen, right? So it is nice that if you see a cool shiny pen on the internet and you think, I really like that, I want to buy one, you can just go to the website or a store, wherever they're selling them, and just pick it up. But might not happen. So that would be one thing. If availability was maybe a little bit better, a little more frequent, that would greatly help as well. Thanks for watching. Leave some comments and likes and subscribes if you haven't done so already. Here's a little sneak peek of stuff coming up. This is a K-glue pen. This is another titanium pen with a carbide tip on there. Let's see what that's all about. A cool vintage Pilot Elite. I'm going to be unanodizing, then reanodizing. I'm maybe thinking of a cool technique for that as well. So stay tuned. I got a bunch more other stuff coming up. And until then, we'll just catch you next time.